Hello and welcome to Elkniodaphs Plays. This was almost the episode that never was. um, had no power for about an hour and a half there right before the stream. Apparently, a squirrel got into the transformer and blew up the transformer, and not in like a cool Michael Bay way, but in like a really unfortunate almost couldn't do the stream way. And of course, I go around posting on all these discords and everything about, hey, come watch my stream tonight, everybody. And then wouldn't it be something? It'd be just my luck. But hey, it worked out. We got powered back. They sent a crew out, replaced the transformer. It's all good. We got a brand new transformer out there. So right now, I'm pumping more power through this thing than ever before. It's fresh power. Brand new transformer. It's the freshest power you've ever experienced. And we are going to fly from we're in Iceland right now. There's an island to the south of it that has a runway on it. It's a little tiny island. And we're going to fly over Iceland, small island nation, Iceland, to the northern coast. There's like an inlet that comes a pretty good distance down inside the island, but there's a runway next to that inlet. So it's basically about 2/3 of the way across Iceland, but it's still water to water. So we're gonna make it to the other side. We're flying an Icon today, a little tiny, cute little plane. It's got a really low top speed. Like this is going to be a challenge. Like this is the kind of this plane's going to get knocked around. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no more squirrels. Transformer working good. We're ready to go. Also, just so you know, I'm imposing a moratorium on Bjork-related talk. Not going to talk about Bjork, except for me right now talking about how I'm not going to talk about Bjork. Yeah, we're in Iceland. We get it. She's from there. Cool. Enough said. All right, so like I said, this is a small little island just to the south of Iceland proper. I don't know if this counts as Iceland or not. I mean, it seems like it probably does. Also, I want you to know that I downloaded a content pack which improves the resolution of Iceland and, makes the, elevation data more accurate. That's a nice little church there. It's probably stuff like that church. I tested this flight, not the whole flight. I don't do that. I like to go in blind, but just like the takeoff. I don't remember seeing that church before, so that could have been something that was in the pack. So, kind of excited. This is the first stream with like a content pack that I've done in this game, so I'm kind of excited about that. And yeah, it's going to be a cool little flight, man. I feel kind of cursed because, well, like I said, this stream almost didn't happen, and then the last stream from last week was Hawaii, and I don't know what the deal was, but the Xbox just stopped working. It just stopped working. And I didn't realize it at first, so I had like 4 minutes of dead air before. I mean, like, I realized it. And I was testing things out. I texted my girlfriend. I was like, hey, can you look at the stream and see if it's working? And she's like, no, not working. So I had to kind of like approximate what was left of the flight and finish it off with like a second flight. And I kind of chalked it up to like that being an emergency landing. Like, oh, something's wrong on the plane, We have to land, emergency landing, and we'll take off from the nearest airport. That's kind of what we did. So in that sense, it's almost kind of realistic. And in the same way, with the power going out today, it almost gives you a sense of like another layer of realism. Like, oh, there's a problem on the runway. We have to delay departure, and then we actually made it on time. So everything worked out. Hopefully this stream goes better than last time. I gotta say, it's hard to tell, but I'm looking at the definition of the landmass ahead, and it looks incredible. I honestly don't remember the game looking this sharp, so I have to imagine that some of this is due to the content pack that I downloaded. I mean, it it should be worth it. I mean, it was like 6 GB. There's 5 different content packs, world updates, and one of them is Japan, which is going to be next week's flight. It's the first time I'm mentioning that on the stream. I try to mention like one stream ahead. Like, I could lay out the whole thing. I have them all written down. I know what they're going to be, but I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it under my sleeve. What's the expression? Under my hat, whatever. Because I might reserve the right to change them or come up with something better. Like, oh, this place sucks now. I don't want to fly there, and then I fly somewhere else. But I feel confident saying that Japan will be next week. I think that'll be a fun one to fly through. I wrote a book that took place in Japan, and I'm thinking about going up that. It's the western coast of Japan, and it's less trafficked by tourists. Tourists care about Tokyo. They care about Akihabara. But they don't care about just like the rural areas, which, from what I've seen and what I've read about, are the coolest parts of Japan. That's where I want to go. So I'm going to fly up the coast of Japan next week, and like I said, we have content pack and everything, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And so we've made it over the main landmass of Iceland. It's beautiful. They're not lying when they say it's a beautiful country. And of course, right out of the gate, we see farmlands. This is everywhere. Everywhere we see farmlands. As soon as we hit the island, man, here they are, farmlands. You see is when you're flying over these areas, and you're seeing. Oh, should I? Oh, I can't put my. Oh, there they go. When you're flying over these great expanses, and you see miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and miles upon miles of farmland, you begin to understand that, and I'm not going like, Greenpeace here or anything, but I'm just saying, like, it's incredible to see how much we have to grow just to survive on this planet. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have a huge, huge footprint on this planet. And, I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm not going to, start that discussion. But, good things come from agriculture. I mean, you think about, like, all these farmlands producing oxygen, I suppose. I mean, plants do that, right? And food and vitamins that kind of distribute their uh, their presence upon the earth over time. Um, yeah, I know. But yeah, farmlands everywhere. So having lost power, I thought, well, I can't cook dinner now. So I had to go to Burger King. So I'm sipping on this vanilla iced coffee. I hope you don't mind. You know, Burger King actually makes a pretty good iced coffee. I think that it's a mix, like it's like a powder mix. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's pretty good. I mean, it tastes good. It's cheap. It's cheap, dude. And my Burger King is literally right next door to a Dunkin' Donuts, which obviously I prefer. But if you just want like you're going through the drive-through for a burger or something, stick another $1.80 on there and get yourself a large Burger King iced coffee. I got the vanilla this time. I've already done mocha coffee earlier today. Mocha is my main jam. It used to be hazelnut. I used to drink a lot of hazelnut coffee. But now it's mocha. I I was at the grocery store a while ago, pandemic and all that. But I was at the grocery store and there was a guy there. I said, "Hey," he's bagging the groceries. I said, "Hey, you look familiar. Where do I know you from?" He said, "I used to work at Dunkin' Donuts. You probably know me from there." I said, "Oh yeah, work at Dunkin' Donuts. I remember. It was a while ago." I was like, "Yeah, I think I remember you too." I was like, "Yeah, I I have a routine, you know." And I asked him. I said, "Hey, just out of curiosity, now that we recognize each other, do you happen to remember what my drink is?" Like, yeah, medium iced coffee, mocha, extra cream. You got it, man. After years, it's amazing. It's amazing what you remember of these inconsequential things. What is this? That's an interesting piece of design on the land there. I'm assuming it has something to do with agriculture, but let's zoom down and take a look. This plane is kind of touchy, so I don't want to pull any like crazy stuff with it, but we can go down and take a look at this. Kind of reminds me of the design on one of the pillars from the Fifth Element. Would be water, I suppose. Maybe these big lines on the Earth really are about talking to aliens. It'd be pretty cool to fly over the Nazca lines. You know, I'll sometimes check that stuff out, but my favorite thing to do in Flight Simulator is just make like a flight, like a legit flight. I saw a video on, I didn't watch it, but I saw the thumbnail of a guy, seeing, like he got this plane and he's going, this Microsoft Flight Simulator. He's like, I want to leave the atmosphere. I want to see how close I can get to space. And that was the caveat of the video. And that's cool. I love that people are doing that stuff. There's people out here flying upside down, doing loops, buzzing the pyramids, uh, um, I've had a few ideas of things that I might want to try. Um, but at the end of the day, I think what I can do that people are less likely to do. Now, I'm not the only one out there doing this, but what I think people are less likely to do is to simply make a by the book flight from point A to point B. And that's all it is. That's what I want to do. That's my niche. And I enjoy it. I kind of enjoy seeing the world in this way. I think it's it feels rewarding, and you kind of shed your solipsism by seeing all of this and realizing that, oh yeah, someone lives in that house, like that little house down there with that red roof, right there, that house right there with that red roof, someone lives there. They might have a nice little Super Nintendo collection. Who knows? And yeah, it's beautiful out here. This is probably the nicest place I've flown, on or off the stream. I really like this area. I want to kind of get lower and just kind of see, this area with some greater definition. Got a bit of a haze. I usually try to fly in real time, but the problem is it's nighttime in Iceland right now. And I didn't really want to do a night flight for the stream. Like, you know, I could, but Iceland is beautiful. I mean, that's kind of the point. Like, I wanted to see what it looked like out here and fly over all this interesting geography. I was reading about Iceland um, earlier today, and there's all kinds of stuff, like geologically going on here. Like, you got glaciers, you got volcanoes. That's something, isn't it? Glaciers and volcanoes in the same place. Like, I get that they're not mutually exclusive. I know that. But just you think about something so cold and something so hot just existing in the space together. It's quite something. Lots of rivers. I'm looking at all these rivers and I'm reminded of the first stream from uh, Arizona to Nevada, and just seeing like all the dry riverbeds, like just meandering through the whole desert. It's like just empty, dead. This is like quite the opposite. I thought Hawaii was the opposite of the desert, but I'm looking at this arrangement of biomes here, and I'm kind of thinking this is the opposite of Arizona. You know what I'm saying? This feels more opposite. We got a slow plane. This is literally the slowest plane available to me in this game. But it doesn't change the length of the flight. I always set a flight path in regards to whatever plane I choose. So I wanted a 2-hour flight path. Anything between an hour and a half and 2 hours. That's my window. This ended up being like an hour and 39 minutes. So right in there. And I see some striations with some snow. That's interesting. You see a lot of these kind of like interesting striations. Like, you look at this, there's like a stark contrast between green, foliage and white snow. It's interesting how that happens. There's obviously man-made contrivances, peppered around that influence these things, but it's interesting to see nonetheless. Kind of get a little lower here. I want to check these places out. I don't want to put myself in a dangerous position. I don't want to fly too low. This feels comfortable. This feels a comfortable height. I did change the time of day, but I didn't change the weather. This should be live weather. Hey Google, What's the weather in Iceland?
Not really regular. It's 52 degrees and mostly cloudy. Sunday will be showers and a high of 56 and a low of 51.
52 degrees right now. It's going to rain tomorrow. I can customize the weather to anything I want, but I think live weather is pretty cool. But yeah, like I said, one of the points of this is I want to see the beautiful landscapes. So I set it to morning. I think it was like 6:30 when we started. I keep an eye out for anything interesting in the snowfield. I kind of have. The past week or so, I thought um, it'd be interesting if like I'm doing one of these flights and my whole thing, of course, as I said, is to kind of take you know the 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 road off the beaten path and just explore these you know distant locales. Not even you know like landmarks or anything. Just these distant locales, uh, way off the beaten path, like literally nothing out here. And I thought, wouldn't it be something if by playing a flight simulator that uses satellite imagery that I come across something that looks suspicious and it ends up being like a thing. Like oh, look at that strange formation out there. Looks like a road and like a mass grave or something. And then I turn on the news, 3 weeks later or something like, oh yeah, a serial killer out here in Iceland keeps dumping his bodies in this one particular spot. Like, oh, I flew over that. I saw it on my on my virtual flight. Yeah, but this started as a kind of way to check out the desert bus thing, the Penn and Teller desert bus thing from Arizona to Nevada. And I thought, let's just keep doing different places. I thought Iceland would be cool, and we have Japan next week, like I said. Um, it's interesting how modeled this is. Like, it's very green and then very white. And then I'm flying over this area now that's just kind of like a mix of snow and green foliage. It's interesting to see, like here's some more like these kind of these white lines filled with snow, like they're like ditches filled with snow. There's one with like a house at the end of it. I see a red roof at the end of one, I'm assuming, and then a green roof. So this is a little neighborhood. So yeah, what we're seeing are roads then. I mean, I figured they were roads, but as we saw in Arizona, there's like a lot of dead roads that don't like seem to function. We see some roads off to the left here that I can't imagine are very trafficked. Um, a lot of wild turns on those roads. Uh, yeah, I mean it seems like you don't need as many crisscrossing mazes of roads to. I mean, there must be stuff down there that I'm not privy to, but it just seems like a lot of road for like no discernible feature. Like, got to go out to this one particular tree today because that's all that seems to be down there. These are some interesting shapes coming up. A striped landscape. You know, going to keep an eye out for baseball fields because everywhere I've flown, I've seen baseball fields. I have a feeling that we're not going to see as many baseball fields out here. I'm just taking a guess. Hey, I could be wrong. Hey, if I was flying over Reykjavik, I might see some baseball fields. We have this patch of green over here. I don't know what that is, but I doubt very much we're going to see very many sporting fields, baseball fields, or golf courses. We're not flying over the cities. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my whole thing is we're just having fun out here in the middle of nowhere. I don't know what that could be. It's interesting to look at nonetheless. You have green, green, brown. Green, green, brown. Little patches. This must be more farmland, right? And that brown field is just overworked. You have what almost looks like a golf course over here, like those could be bunkers, but this can't be a golf course. This is not a golf course. This would be like the most remote golf course ever. Or maybe not. Hey Google, what is the most remote golf course? She doesn't know. We gotta get back on track here. We drifted off a bit off course. Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention I turned off. Hey Google, stop! I turned off the notifications about the gyroscopic compass that kept getting misaligned during flights. I looked into it. That's just a thing that happens as you fly. Your compass gets misaligned. It's your nav computer. Your analog compass always points in the correct direction, but occasionally in a flight you have to realign your nav computer. And I kept getting alerts for that. And I think, knock on wood, I turned off the correct notifications. So we won't be getting that anymore. Look at these colors. This is incredible. I love this. So we won't be getting those notifications anymore. God, it's uncanny. Look how beautiful this is. And I also turned off the voice. I turned the voice off because it's cool to listen to. Like you hear the text to speech rattle off these impressive, Delta 1, brr, 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 all these different things. And it sounds impressive, but it doesn't really add anything to the stream. So I turned those off. So now it literally is just me and the plane flying over these places. And man, I just can't get over this landscape. Beautiful. I love this combination of colors. It's very interesting. I don't know what this would be. I mean, I assume this is some kind of like wetlands, and these are maybe swamps or like muddy or clay patched areas. And then you see like lines of trees where they're probably growing on the edge of like these probably berms, probably naturally occurring berms. And man, it's just beautiful. I love this shade of green, this shade of brown. Everything about this is amazing. It's incredible how diverse the landscapes are in Iceland. I mean, there's this. They got everything here. We see some mountains up ahead. Lots of rivers there. Little like, man, just a tangle of rivers. I'm gonna come down a little bit. This plane wants to climb. Like this plane is like naturally wants to climb, and that's cool. I mean, it's better than the opposite. Um, in my first flight, I had to pull back like literally the whole time because the plane just kept on sinking. This one wants to keep going up. Whoa, little turbulence. Little turbulence. But yeah, I'm not trying to do anything crazy out here, man. I'm not doing any loops or any barrel rolls or do a barrel roll. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm just keeping my head down, flying to the next runway. Hawaii was interesting because like there were large patches of it flying between the islands where you were just over the water. And like I was flying a plane that didn't have like pontoons or anything, so like it feels different flying without a safety net. Like even this, like I feel like I could probably find a patch to land if I had to, but it's rough out here too, man. Like this is rocky. Like it looks flat, right? But if you really zone in on like think about where you could land, it doesn't really look like there's a lot of places because it's just so undulating. Don't want to forget my coffee, man. It's gonna get watered down if I don't drink it. That is a tasty coffee. Alexander. Alexander, time approach. Yeah, so like I said at the beginning, um, the destination that we're trying to get to is this kind of inlet on the northern side of Iceland, and it's kind of a cheat, but I had to do it with this plane because I'm trying to make a flight plan that takes between an hour and 30 minutes and 2 hours, and anything that was on the far end, the far northern end of Iceland, was way beyond that. Unless I changed planes, I really wanted to use this plane. I thought we're flying over a cute little island nation. Let's fly a cute little plane. And this plane is cool, man. I like it. It's like just a simple, like no frills. Uh, you know, I mean the propeller's in an interesting place, isn't it? That's strange, right? But I'm into it. I hear that they're going to be adding uh, some some you know army style planes, probably F-19s, when the new Top Gun movie comes out. That's gonna be free. That's just a free update. You get those planes, have fun. But man, those will be something, huh? Because those go at Mach speeds. So I can't imagine going that fast in this game. I mean, here I am going like really super slow, and icon A5, and I'm into it. Like I'm into that. But like doing like 10 times this speed would blow my mind. I don't even know if I'd want to. I'm not afraid to. I just don't know that that interests me. Um, like I like I said, my interests always kind of lie in the the mundane. You know, um, I'm that person that will grind my Diablo character to Paragon level 800. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm that person that'll spend 3 hours in Final Fantasy One just outside the first castle area just to get to like level 5. I like to do that kind of stuff. I like the mundane. I like the tedious. I had a neighbor in this must have been about 15 years ago. His name was Brennan, and he worked in this factory where his whole job was to take an assortment of wood carving equipment. I'm not well versed enough in wood carving equipment to rattle off the names of all these pieces, but like different types of knives or different, I don't know, like vice grips or something, whatever you need to carve wood. And he uh, he worked in this factory where his whole job was to assemble these packages with all these tools. And he's telling me that they had this job opening, and I was like, oh man, you gotta hook me up. He's like, you'd hate it though. I was like, why would I hate it? He was like, because it's so tedious. It's so mundane and tedious. And I'm like, but dude, you don't understand, man. My dream job is like drawbridge operator or like fire watch. Like that's my dream job. Like this is what I want. But he wouldn't give me the details on the job, and it was so frustrating because he thought I wouldn't be interested. It's like, why are you even telling me about it? But yeah, just an example of me thriving in tedium as we change from one biome to another. It looks like we have a lot of snow ahead of us, so let's get low and see the if we can discover any of the last vestiges of civilization as we fly into the icy heart of Iceland. It's always this thing of like there's like a house like out here in the middle of nowhere. Like there's one crazy idiot that lives like right at this lake, for example. Let's fly over that lake. I want to check this lake out. It's always interesting to see different things and see if there's any civilization over here. As humans, we always try to build our civilizations near sources of water. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's a couple things out here. And man, we have, yeah, quite a snowy region ahead of us. So we're gonna be whited out here in a second. Let me sit forward. Let's see. If I was a human, I would probably put my civilization right where that lake meets that river. Maybe I'd even put it on that little peninsula there. That's where I'd put my civilization. There's a similar river on the other side. And yeah, not much going on here. There's some interesting geological patterns on that center island to the left. Like there has been some traffic on it at some point. Someone's been out here altering the landscape with their tires. Yeah, no wooden shacks or any tiny towns or anything out here. It's interesting because the shore. I don't know if this is like the game or it seems like there's some problems with the satellite imagery here because it looks like we have like the snow pattern around here doesn't make any sense. Like it's angular. Like there's this bit out here that sticks out into the water. It seems like we're having some some issues with the satellite imagery in this particular location. Still impressive nonetheless. I'm not going to sit here and cry foul about how this one random lake in Iceland doesn't look right when we have the whole world to explore. That's quite a feat, quite a technological marvel. I'm over here nitpicking one lake that no one cares about. Yeah, and now we start quite an expanse of snowfield. I have a tendency with these kind of things to get a little uh, loopy, a little loony in the head there. Um, I often cite Mudrunner. Uh, when I was streaming that, it became it became quite a strange stream over time because I mean the problem is if there's nothing out here to talk about, then I have to fill the void. And if you're doing hour after hour after hour of that, eventually you get to a point where you're telling any story you can think of. And sometimes you reach pretty far back into your psyche. And speaking of which, I told a story in the Mudrunner stream once about an egg salad sandwich I had, and I was going to uh, kind of take that idea and do like a sandwich of the week on this stream for um, Microsoft Flight Simulator, but like Iceland kind of killed it. Well, to be honest, um, uh, the the last stream I did kind of killed it. Well, to be honest, the Delta variant kind of killed it. I can't justify going out to the grocery store for something as stupid as I'm trying to make a sandwich that someone might eat in Iceland. I saw one. It was a like an open-faced roast beef sandwich with like buttered bread, and I'm trying to remember what the topping was. But man, they do a lot of fish out here, dude. I do not like fish. They do a lot of fish in Hawaii too. But yeah, we're not doing the sandwich of the week. I have a background in radio. It was a brief stint, but I still developed a lot of habits in that time. And the whole thing about radio is segments. You got to have a segment because it's very strict. You have like we did a 2-hour show, and from you know uh, 10 o'clock to 10:15 we did this segment, and from 10:15 to 10:30 we did this segment, and it was uh, very strictly timed in radio. And what's interesting about this is I try to carry that same idea into video game stream, and like it kind of works and it kind of doesn't. I feel like you can make those efforts and you can come up with segments. Sandwich of the week. Oh, what sandwich did I eat this week? Tune in to the stream to find out. Oh, it's an open faced roast beef sandwich. I give it a 7.5. Like that's good stuff, I guess. But the segment last week just was so flat. Like it was just so flat, and it even felt bad doing it. Like who cares? I ate a ham sandwich with some Swiss on it. Like that was a thing. You know, I talk about thriving in the mundane, but even that was like beyond the pale. That was it was a good sandwich. You know, Worcestershire sauce on there and the butter and the mustard and you bake it, King's Hawaiian roll. It's a good sandwich. You know what's interesting about every now and then you hit a landscape like this where like you're flying and you're going at a pretty good clip. Like I'll grant that this is a slow plane, but you're going at a pretty good clip, right? So every now and then you hit a landscape like this where you're flying, doing the same speed you've always been doing, but you just seem like it's still, like it's still, like you're just paused in the air. Like I know that I'm not. I can literally hear the wind rushing by my ears. Yeah, I hear it. The wind is picking up actually, and the air conditioner just kicked on. So it's like I'm getting like this kind of cool virtual effect. Um, but it just seems like I'm still. Every now and then you get a landscape like that. It could be because I'm quite high up now, but I hesitate to fly low over the snow because there's always that like that idea of, oh, there's a huge white mountain I just flew into and didn't see. Well, why didn't I see it? Well, because it was white like everything else. No, I can tell that I'm not in danger of flying into any mountains. I could get lower, but I mean that's the whole idea behind like the illusory aspect of that is uh, you don't realize what you're seeing until you know until your plane runs into it. Oh, I'll tell you what I did do today. Every year I and I've been bad about it. I've not stuck to it. But I'm in the Instagram now, so I'm going to stick to it this year. But every year I do for October. Yeah, wind is really picking up. For October I do not. This isn't a stream thing. This is just like a personal thing, and something I'll share on Instagram uh, at Elkniodaphs if you want to follow me on Instagram. But I do like a spooky game every day. Like every day is a different video game that's like scary. Sometimes it's Resident Evil. Sometimes it's a loose fit like Castlevania. Like Castlevania is not scary, but it's got vampires in it. What do you want from me? You know, it fits. It's Halloween, vampires. What do you want? Um, so I picked out my games uh, for that this year. I'm kind of excited about it. I've noticed the last couple of years, and sometimes I randomize them. Sometimes I pick them out very specifically, or like, you know, uh, this month I'm doing Silent Hill Sundays, or whatever. Like, but it seemed like Black Widow, the arcade game, the Atari arcade game Black Widow, just kept being like the game I would play on Halloween. So I decided to keep up with that. So on the 31st I'm playing Black Widow, and then the rest of the month I have everything from Silent Hill 3 to Graveyard Keeper and different Castlevanias. I recently dug out my handheld stuff, so I got Portrait of Ruin and whatever that other one is. There's too many Castlevania games. Um, so yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. And my my idea, and I used to do this on Facebook, but I'm not on Facebook anymore. My idea is to, take screenshots or photographs of each game and put them on my Instagram. And I think that's a good kind of way to um, seed your uh, your content into the world on like a daily basis like that. Like I follow account on Instagram called She Lion Gaming, and this this woman's collection is incredible. Like I don't think I've ever seen her post something that wasn't a complete inbox. And she posts 3 or 4 times a day, and it blows my mind. You should follow She Lion Gaming. Incredible. On Instagram. And the collection is insane. And um, I kind of forgot where I was going with that, but uh, but um, but yeah, I think it's a good kind of way to seed your content into increase your digital footprint, as it were, as opposed to your agricultural footprint that we saw 45 minutes ago in our rear view. Um, but yeah, just remaining committed to that. Like I'll have 31 days of it, like back to back to back, 31 days. She Lion Gaming's over here doing it every day, not themed or anything. I actually I wrote her a message, and I asked her if she had ever heard. There's an old video game blog. I could never find it. I never found it again. But there's an old video game blog called Blue Sky Gaming, and they used to do like write articles about these games that have this very particular aesthetic. They called it the blue sky aesthetic. Now it's not something that is typically talked about, but it would be things like let's say Outrun. It doesn't always have to be a racing game, but it could be Outrun or Super Mario Sunshine or uh, you know even Phantasy Star Online, like the original, kind of fits in the first forest area, or any kind of thing that has like generally tropical or like beach style areas where you have that nice horizon. It's not necessarily Outrun, but it's like a blue sky aesthetic. I mean, that's the best descriptor I can give. And I rattled off a bunch of games to her, and I said, "Hey, I know you probably don't take requests, but um, you might be interested in this aesthetic." And she seemed receptive. And Wave Race 64. There's another one. Wave Race 64. Ridge Racer. You do see it a lot in racing games, of course, but it's not exclusive to that. Chrono Cross. I would say Chrono Cross fits the aesthetic. Chrono Cross is a great game. But yeah, I told her about this aesthetic, and she's tagged me in a few things. I really enjoy her content. You should give her a follow. She Lion Gaming. Speaking of great games, back to my Halloween stuff. I recently found out that the PS3 can still access the marketplace, and they still have the PS1 classics on there. And I saw that I could get Echo Knight for like $6. This is a game that I've pined for like 20 years. I used to live in a condominium, and there was a video store near it. Go to the video store. Am I thinking of the right thing? I believe so. I would go to the video store. Yes, yes, yes. I am thinking of the right thing. I would go to the video store and uh, they had I would rent Echo Night like probably once every 2 or 3 months. And sorry, I'm trying to have like a very specific memory. I feel like I'm getting an aspect of it wrong. But oh man, I'm gonna have to talk to my girlfriend about this later because I seem to recall there being a video store next to the condo where I used to live, but I can't I can't conjure its location. Very strange. But anyway, they had Echo Night there, and I feel quite privileged having played it because um, they it's a From Software game. These are the guys that did Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Sekiro, Bloodborne. This is a game that they did before all that. This might even be before King's Field. You know what I'm saying? So this is a game that flew under the radar for a lot of people. And it's kind of like this. You're solving a. This is the thing. I don't remember the game wholly. I remember bits and pieces. I remember trying to solve some puzzles on a train at the beginning. I remember this very creepy little kid, and I remember I never finished it, even though despite renting it a few times. I think one of those times my memory card got corrupted, so I was like really beaten up about it. But I recently discovered that the PS3 marketplace is still online. They were going to take it down a few months ago. I'm glad I discovered this when I did, because I hooked it up, and it was hard getting the PS3 to talk to my modem, because like the PS3 doesn't operate, the same way that modern modems operate. So it took a little while to get it working, but when I did, they have all this stuff. Like Tomba is on there. I love Tomba. Tomba's one of those games that people still talk about. Like, I'm on R tip of my joystick a lot. It's a subreddit for people who are trying to remember a certain game from their childhood or something. They're like, I have these details. Does this help? And it never does, but you try your best. But yeah, they have that's one of the games that always pops up. But yeah, Echo Night, I felt that the time was right for me to pick this up and do the whole Halloween thing. I have that one pretty much right in the middle of the month. So I'm excited about getting on that and, uh, you know, um, seeing what I missed out on by not being able to beat it back in the day. My girlfriend and I recently watched the Game Center CX episode where Shinya Arino did D. That's a game by Warp. It had at least one sequel. I think there was even a spin-off, but D, the original, I played on 3DO, and it's about this girl Laura whose father is like a homicidal doctor. He gets these patients and he starts killing them. You find out throughout the course of the game that he's been possessed by like a vampire spirit or something. But the meat of the game is going around this castle and solving these very mist-like, or rather Mansion of Hidden Souls-like puzzles. And it was such a blast watching someone play through that again. And even Shinya Arino said, hey, I recognize this, I've played this before. but it was still like, he couldn't remember everything, so it was a lot of fun watching him go through that. Uh, I love that so many of the episodes have been translated. Game Center CX. You can find it online. I can't remember the URL. It's something like SAGCCX or something like that. You search on Google, you'll find it. Um, but yeah, they have a lot of episodes translated. And people just do this because they're fans. I think that's great. Uh, Occasionally you'll see an upload on YouTube or something, but those get shut down pretty quick. Fuji TV is really quite protective of their content. Man, when did I get 11,000 feet up into the air? Yeah, there's just nothing back there. Let's get low again, because it looks like the biomes are about to change, and we might fly over some civilizations. So it's always interesting to see little towns here and there. I don't think we missed out on anything by flying so high over this stuff. It was just cloud, just ice cap mountain range. Jeez, this plane does some weird stuff, man. I always fear a botched landing. Like, I haven't had a botched landing yet, whether streaming or, playing offline. But it's going to happen. And I'll tell you this, if it was going to happen with any plane, it would happen with this one. So prepare for that botched landing. It's still a ways out, 50 nautical miles. So we're going to pass over Sanda Airport. Sorry, Sanda Airport. You're not the airport we're looking for. Yeah, this plane is just getting knocked around by wind. Oof. Yeah, I think it was a mistake getting that high up. This plane does not do very well at altitude. But yeah, getting back into some more interesting land masses here. Turbulence. Turbulence. This is kind of a scary plane. I was watching Josh Gates a few years ago. There was this episode of Expedition Unknown where he was going over, like, I want to say like Papua New Guinea or something like that. And he hired this pilot to fly him from point A to point B. And the plane, while he was flying in the air, started, just falling apart. Like pieces of it just started coming off. Man, that's incredible, right? Could you imagine? That was quite an episode too. I remember a lot of the episode. I remember him meeting with like gorillas in the woods. Not gorillas, but gorillas. I think that's the same episode. I'll tell you, if you're in the woods in Papua New Guinea, you don't want to run into either kind of gorilla in the woods. It's a bad scene. I wonder if they have gorillas there. This is what the stream devolves into. Now I'm wondering if they have gorillas in Papua New Guinea. I know I'm butchering the pronunciation of that, but it's all good. That's what I do. That's what I do. I was looking at the different airports and such in Iceland when I started. Like before I started the stream, trying to pick out my my starting airport and my destination airport. And I'm looking around at all these different airports and cities and stuff. I'm thinking, I can't pronounce any of this. But now, like, the last, like, few things we passed over, are like Sanda Airport and like Wilson Phillips Airport. Like, this is not the Iceland I thought it was, but it's beautiful. Uh, I think there might be some civilization down there next to that lake on the left. It's kind of hard to tell. We're still pretty high up. Need to lose some altitude. Got a pretty long road that cuts straight through this plain up to Sanda Airport. Sign of civilization. And we have lake. We got a lot of cloud cover coming up, actually. Yeah, probably a town or two by that lake, I would imagine. I can't seem to lose altitude with this plane. This plane just wants to keep going up and up. No fields yet. I called that at the beginning. You know, we got Reykjavik way out to the west. We don't care about flying over Reykjavik. That's what everyone's going to do. Yeah, that Reykjavik is gained a lot of popularity in people's headspace since it was mentioned in that commercial a couple of years ago. What's that commercial for? Where did Midsommar take place? That wasn't Iceland, was it? But it was a very Iceland-like place. It was like Norway or something. I have it. Hold on, let me look. Try not to. That was my tray creaking. Hold on a second. Midsommar. Midsommar. There it is. I don't think it was Iceland, but where was it? Let's see. After a family tragedy, a young American couple joins some friends at a midsummer festival in a remote Swedish village. Right. What begins as a carefree summer holiday takes a sinister turn when the insular villagers invite their guests to partake in festivities that grow increasingly unnerving and viscerally disturbing. You know, Midsommar is basically the outside mother. There's a movie called Mother that does the same thing Midsommar does, but it's inside. Midsommar is the outside mother. Very good movie. I think there's a pop vinyl for it. Alright. Got Man, why does it seem like I've been passing Sanda Airport for like 20 minutes? God, get behind me, Sanda Airport. I keep having like illusions of golf courses beneath me, but I know these aren't golf courses. So they kind of have that shape. Dog leg left. These interesting, like, windswept islands. Yeah, I was mentioning earlier on the stream, like, it would be interesting to like fly over like a undiscovered crime scene in a flight simulator and help solve a case because you found something out there, like in the flight simulator. in that same vein, I was thinking I should fly over Oak Island and just see if I see anything. You know what I mean? Like, they're all out there digging for treasure. What if I fly over there in a flight simulator and, see like, an arrow that someone carved, 100 years ago, points to the treasure or something. What is this? A little piece of something down here. Like a little tops of trees. It doesn't look like anything to me. Alright, yeah, we're getting close. Look at these colors. Man, this is an amazing lake. Look at this lake, dude. I gotta say, man, Iceland gives Hawaii a run for its money. This might actually... But there's like purple. Look at these purple shores. What is that? That's crazy. Is it really like that? Is that like the satellite image screwing up? That's incredible. Wow. That's crazy. What is the deal with that? That's bizarre. That is cool, man. Purple beach. See, this is why I love doing this, right? Like, you see all these strange things out there. Like, flying around the desert, you see, like, arrows and triangles and, like, circles with water in them. Like, not lakes, but, like, concentric circles with, like, just pits of water. You see weird stuff everywhere, man. Earth is weird. We're getting into some cloud cover. This is that cloud cover I noticed about 15 minutes ago. I'm about to fly over it. I want to fly in it because this is kind of a very uncertain terrain. Like, I don't know when there's going to be a mountain. So I don't want to fly into these clouds. I'll fly over them. But, yeah, get pretty close. Man, that beach was crazy. That little island beach. It's not a beach, it's a little island in a lake. You know what I'm saying. But yeah, you see a lot of weird stuff, man. That's what I'm here for. Looking for the weird stuff. I have 12 of these planned. This is the third one. The last one is going to be a flight over Wadi Rum, which is the filming location of Dune 2021. And on paper, it's desert. Like, that's the whole idea, right? Is it's just desert. But that's the ultimate test. I want to set up a flight in the desert, which is purportedly the middle of nowhere. The desert. Like the desert. And what is it going to be? It's going to be a flight. I might even do a longer flight. Maybe that'll be a 3-hour flight. It's going to be a flight through the desert to culminate this series of streams, because I love Dune 2021. And we're gonna see some crazy stuff out there. I just know it. Like, you think it's the desert, there's not going to be a lot out there, but I bet you there will be, man. I bet you will see some crazy stuff. Look at these clouds. These clouds are amazing. These are like Ghibli clouds. These are like Ghibli, like castle in the sky level clouds. This is incredible. You know what? These are like Attack on Titan clouds. They're definitely Attack on Titan clouds. I can imagine seeing a Titan walking through these, kind of swishing him out of the way as he goes. Yeah, they're not that big though, are they? It'd be pretty cool if they were. Yeah, these clouds are cool. These are a lot better than the clouds they had over Hawaii. Those clouds sucked. Get your act together, Hawaii. Get better clouds. I kind of have a pocket here. I kind of want to see if I can fly under these clouds. I feel like I'm missing a lot of cool geography. I just didn't want to get like in the cloud cover and like fly into a mountain or something. But it looks like I can kind of poke underneath here and see that they're not touching the ground. I think we'll be okay. Take another sip of my vanilla coffee. God, I love iced coffee. I drink too much of it, I'm addicted. Yeah, we have some pretty good elevation here. It's like a valley, river valley. A lot of crazy stuff happening off to the right. I think that's snow striations, maybe. And I'm going down pretty fast. I should probably level out a little bit. I was trying to duck into this cloud, but it feels like there's too much elevation around here. I mean, I'm pretty much that plateau to the right is pretty much at wing level. I'm gonna have to go back up. It's beautiful out here. The clouds in this game look really good. I mean, they're procedurally generated, and they try to make different types of clouds. Um, I haven't seen ones that look exactly like this yet. These are new to me, but they look really good. That cloud's kind of doing some weird stuff against the land. It has like a crescent shape against the land that looks kind of odd. But normally they look pretty good. We're getting pretty close to the airport here. It's quite something um, that you can fly across Iceland. And we're taking a really slow plane, but even in this plane, it's only a 2-hour flight, like an hour and a half flight across Iceland. I never knew Iceland was that small. I told my girlfriend, I don't know how accurate this is, but it seemed accurate at the time. It's like half of a Florida. It's like if you took Florida and cut it in half, like across, Iceland would be the bottom half. And yeah, I think that's probably about the right size. I don't know. It seemed like it on the map. But the geography here is a lot more intense than Florida. Florida's just flat. You know. I mean, where I live, it's flat. I can drive 3 hours north and see there's like 2 hills up there. Like if I get in my car and drive 3 hours north of where I am right now, there's 2 hills up there. There's two of them, and that's Florida. That's your elevation. That's your change in elevation in Florida. I can drive 3 hours to see those 2 hills. Um, but this is crazy. I mean, I was flying around near the Grand Canyon there, and I mean, in the plane, it's actually kind of not that impressive. I mean, it kind of felt like there's a Star Wars game that I used to play. I think it was on Sega CD. I can't remember the name of it, but there's this part in it where you're flying in you're flying. I can't remember the name of the planet, but you're doing the whole shooting womp rat things in this. You know what it really is it's a prelude to doing the trench run on the Death Star. But you're in this canyon, and it's just really tight and kind of like a meandering trench. Uh, you're shooting these womp rats, and it kind of felt like that, like flying through the Grand Canyon. It was kind of like it didn't seem like a deal. In a plane, on foot, you're visiting there, beautiful. I totally get it. But in a plane, it just doesn't seem like much. It's strange because everything in a plane seems a lot smaller than it is. Because, like, you fly over Miami, like, you're going over Miami, you fly over it 3 minutes, it's behind you. Like, wow, that was Miami. It's amazing how smaller everything seems in a plane. Um, and like I said, we just flew over this whole island in like an hour and a half. This is an island nation. Like, this is a nation. They have their own flag. Like, just an hour and a half, like half of a Florida. Turbulence. Yeah, so it's like an illusion of size. Objects on the ground may be larger than they appear. But speaking of the ground, let's get kind of low because I see more civilization. I see more farmlands. Everywhere is farmland. In this one, everybody's got a farm. Hey guys, in this one, everybody's got a farm. Yeah. Man, this plane does not like to descend. Anytime I try to descend in this plane, it freaks out. Turbulence. Hardcore turbulence, man. This is like, it feels like I'm gonna crash. I never did see a baseball field, but Iceland's gotta have a baseball field, right? Not in these farmlands, though. Although that didn't stop Arizona from putting baseball fields near their farmlands. This might be the first time on the stream that I'm in a place that doesn't have a baseball field. Hey Google, is baseball popular in Iceland?
Sorry, I don't have any information about that,
She
but
doesn't
I
know.
found something similar. Do you know the men who play baseball in Iceland?
Yes.
According to Elkniodaphs, the Iceland national baseball team represents Iceland in international competition. The team is controlled by the Icelandic Baseball Association and is a provisional member of the Confederation of European Baseball since 2009.
Okay, so they have a team that plays internationally, but it's overseen by like a, a European uh, body. So it isn't even really their thing. Yeah, you're not going to see a lot of baseball fields here in old Iceland. Hey Google, what sports are popular in Iceland?
On the website display.is, it says there are three sports in Iceland that are by far the most popular. There is football, handball, and golf. The
Football.
most popular
Okay.
of those is football.
Football,
Icelandic football is
handball,
on a high note this
and
year.
golf.
People also sometimes
Hey
ask me,
Google,
what sport?
stop. Yeah, football, handball, and golf. Which is interesting because I always see golf courses when I'm flying around. I haven't seen a golf course out here. So it must not be too popular. Probably over there in Reykjavik it is. You know how those Reykjavikians are. I saw a couple things that looked like they could have been a golf course, but they were straight in the middle of nowhere, so I doubt it. Um, Handball. Handball is popular here, huh? That's weird. That's a weird thing. I'm not even 100% sure what that is. But we're getting pretty close to the airport there. Finish off our flight, our 2 hour flight over Iceland. It's a cool country, man. Very beautiful landscapes. There's an incredible mountain ridge to my right. Very nice. Those mountains look oddly rounded. Strange. Kind of like they're more like hills, I guess, than mountains. Ooh, I don't like flying through this cloud. Can't see anything, man. Don't like that. I gotta get to where I can see something. Oh, I don't like this. Imagine crashing right now. Turbulence. Turbulence. Okay. I see our landing. I'm going to head to the approach. Very sparsely populated out here. I mean, I stay away from the cities, but nonetheless, very sparsely populated. I'll stick my landing gear down. It's a bit early, but hey, why not? Declare my intentions to land. And yeah, this is that huge inlet I was talking about. So ahead of us, like forward and to the left and forward and to the right, you're going to see land. But we have the small inlet, well, large inlet, really. It takes up like a third of the length of the country. Large inlet that lets us cheat from the southern coast to the northern coast. Cut off about 45 minutes of travel. Still don't see any baseball fields. I feel like a baseball field would not be out of place here. I'm not seeing any. I guess they're just not that into baseball here. I mean, baseball is nice, but it's no handball, apparently. Under the cloud cover. It's nice and clear now for my landing. Yeah, I could definitely imagine there being a little baseball diamond over there on the left, but there just doesn't seem to be one. You fly anywhere in Florida, you are passing a baseball field a minute. It's super weird to me because, like, no one really even cares about baseball, but it's like everywhere. I think like little league kids want to play baseball, but I don't think that translates to like adults being into baseball. I think most people don't care about baseball. All right, I'm gonna slow down. It wants me to do this big U shape all around. Why would I do that? Like the runway's right ahead of me. I'm just gonna go straight in. Got my landing gear down. All right. Like I said, if I was gonna botch a landing, it would probably be with this plane. So here we go. Slow down. Beautiful country, though. I I greatly enjoyed flying over it. Too fast? Don't worry about that. It always says that. If I slow down anymore, I'm going to fall out of the sky. Nothing I can do. Alright, I'm lined up pretty well. Man, I'm going so slow. I can drive faster than this. Well, that was a surprisingly short flight. It was a nice little flight, though. I enjoyed checking out Iceland and seeing what it was all about, and uh, I kept my moratorium intact. Didn't talk about you know who the whole time I was here, so I think I get some points for that. Touch down very softly, very softly. Yes. Kiss the runway. There we go. That's a landing. All right. So that was Iceland. That was south coast to the north coast of Iceland in just about an hour and a half. So check out the stream next week. We're going to be doing Japan. And again, that's with the new content pack. So it's going to look incredible in high resolution textures. I'm going to be flying off the beaten path. I'm going to be checking out the area that where I wrote a book it takes place at. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So check out next week. Thanks for watching. See you next time.